Welcome back to Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. This is your host, Herc. I'm here in Parkland, Washington, about to get a cut over here at Royal Fades by Tyler. We're going to do episode 12 with him as well. So at the end of the podcast, you guys let me know what the cut looks like. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. And if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at mindoveremotions_VDP and follow us on TikTok as well at Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. It's free. And let's get to this episode. All right, guys, welcome back to Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. Like I said, your host, Herc. I'm here with Barber Tyler over at Royal Fades in Parkland, Washington. If you're in town and you need a cut, come on over here to see them. The address is, what's the address again?
I'm not ready with that.
11810.
Yeah, Pacific Ave.
Yep, 11810 Pacific Ave in Parkland, Washington, okay?
Yeah, that's us.
All right, let's get to this episode, man.
All right. Let's get going. Let's talk about what you want for your haircut first. Let's see what let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, that's probably most important.
Yes, sir.
So just like normal, man, I'm gonna do the 1.5 on the top. And then actually we'll take it down to a 1.
To a 1? Okay,
yep.
Tighten it down a little more. Okay.
Yep. And we're gonna do the as well. We're gonna do the part as normal, and then a ball phase.
Okay. Let's get it. I got you.
And to all my viewers, if you guys see a little dog walk by, don't worry about that. she just want to be a part of the podcast.
That's my little pup. That's Lola. That's Lola. Lola. All right, y'all. See you, bro. Y'all have a good one. They leaving me here by myself. That's all right. That's all right.
Huh?
I guess he wanna.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Cutting into the camera. Look, he's just trying to get on TV. He's trying to get on TV. He's trying to get on. He's trying to get on.
We ain't edited none of this out.
Oh, no edits is crazy. I'm scared now.
Yeah, no edits.
All right, man.
So Tyler, where you from, man?
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, born and raised.
Little Rock, Arkansas. How was it in Little Rock?
Little Rock is cool, man. It's honestly, I kind of wanted to leave Little Rock. That's why I ended up joining the military, because it kind of was boring and slow to me. But it's home, so I love it, That's where all my family is, so I love it. But, I like to visit as much as I can, but I love it out here, though.
Okay.
In Tacoma, I love it.
So, growing up in Little Rock, Arkansas, were you with your mom and your dad both?
My parents are divorced. They got divorced when I was young, probably around 10, 11 years old, so it's mostly my mom.
Okay.
Mostly raised with my mom. Dad was in and out. He tried.
So did you have any kind of relationship with your dad?
Yeah. We got a good relationship. My dad just recently passed away though.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about that, man.
Yeah, this was terrible. But we kind of got closer when I was older,
Okay. When you were a kid, did you have a relationship with your dad at all?
Yeah, kind of in and out, He was just going through a lot of things, but he was just in and out of my life for most of like my young years all the way up till high school. And then I kind of, we made amends after that, and I tried to always help him as much as I can. He's been through a lot.
I got you.
He's been through a lot.
So, how were you in school growing up?
Man, I was I was a good student all the way through elementary, and then for some reason I got to like middle school age, and that's when I started cutting up a little bit.
What do you mean cutting up?
Meaning getting in a little trouble, grades falling, and just having more fun than study. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel that.
I still graduated, high school and all that, but it was rocky.
I think most people go through that phase.
It was rocky. Yeah.
Very very few of you don't. Hey, real quick, you got a paper towel or something?
Yeah, I got you.
While you grabbing that paper towel, though, do you have any siblings or anything?
Yep, I got one little brother. Little brother.
How's you guys' relationship? You guys have a good relationship?
Oh yeah, we great, man. We talk all the time. We just That's little brother.
Is he a barber as well?
No. He's a truck driver right now. He's got his own business going, just like me.
Oh, nice.
He's got his own tractor and trailer, and he's riding across country, making the big bucks. He's doing good.
Okay.
I'm proud of him, really.
Now, with your mom, is she still in Arkansas?
Yeah, she's still in Arkansas. She's still out there. I just visited like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay. The irony of us talking about Arkansas right now is my mom's she's actually traveling here right now. She's in Arkansas, so.
Oh, really?
Wow. Shout out to my mom. Please be safe on that road, Mom, and let me know when you make it safely.
Oh yeah, safe travels. For sure.
But so during middle school, during high school, I know you say you were doing good academically and stuff like that. And you started getting into a little bit of trouble and stuff like that. Do you know why you decided to go down that path to start getting in trouble? Was it
yeah. I mean, looking back on it, during the time you don't know, but when you look back on it, it was more, you're trying to be cool, want to fit in and hang out with everybody, and I tried to be the little class clown sometimes. And just trying to be cool is what it came down to, trying to fit in with the other kids. Well,
I gotta ask you, man. What's the worst trouble? What's like one of the worst things you've done?
Like in the high school days?
Yeah. You ain't gotta talk about nothing illegal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to talk like that. Man, most of mine was honestly just getting like sent to the principal for like interrupting class all the time, trying to make a joke. I didn't do anything wild, like fighting or nothing like that, but it was more of me not caring about school. And me, parent-teacher conferences, he don't pay attention, he disrupts class, what I'm saying? That's what I was on, trying to be jokester.
Because I know, like, when I was in school, I used to get in trouble from time to time as well. But they used to send our, suspension and stuff like that. They would send those notices through the mail.
Oh, right.
And I would try to get home before.
There you go.
Before my mom or something like that, and check the mail. Always volunteer and check the mail so I could get it.
I got you, man. I was sneaky like that too, for real.
Yeah, I remember when I got a cell phone in high school, man. I put down my cell phone number as the house number.
Ooh, you cold-blooded. You was cold-blooded, so they calling you.
Yeah, and I would know the number as them, so I just wouldn't answer.
Sheesh. Nah, that's cold.
When'd you graduate?
I was sneaky like that too, but. I graduated in 2011.
2011, so that makes
2011.
you what, 33?
I am 31. I'm about to be 32 in August.
Okay. Happy early birthday, man.
Yep. That does remind me though, you talking about being sneaky. Most of my sneakiness was like at home, sneaking out the house. Like that was my thing. I was out the window. Like I'm gone.
That's wicked. I couldn't do it because I know, like for me, I was more scared of my mom. Like I wasn't scared to get in trouble at school because they were limited on what they could do,
Right.
But like when it came to stuff at home, man, hell no, I was not messing with my mom.
Oh, trust me, I'm scared of my moms too. I'm from down south where they, they believe in whoopings down there, man. So yeah, I'm scared too, but I don't know what made me I don't know, bro. I was super sneaky, bro.
Did you play any sports or anything like that in school?
Yeah. I played football in high school. Then I, mostly football is all I played, other than like pickup basketball. But
now, what got you into sports? Did you always have a love for sports, or was it like an outlet for you?
Kind of just something that, my dad was a football coach when I was young, so he kind of was almost, you had to be in there because. He's a football coach. He wanted all his kids to play football.
Yeah.
And also, like down south, it's almost a rite of passage to like play football. Like you have to join Little League, and like it's almost like a rite of passage.
Yeah. I didn't get to play football, but I was, honestly, I really didn't have any desire to play either. I played a lot of soccer, man.
Okay.
A lot of soccer, a lot of basketball. But did you end up going to college?
Yeah, I went to college for 1 year right after high school, man. But I got blessed to get in. I had just enough grades, but man, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, man. I was out there kicking it too hard.
What was you supposed to be going to school for?
I wanted to go for business, but like I said, after the first year, I pretty much got kicked out for academics, man. I didn't make no grades, bro.
Well, you must have learned something because you're a business owner now.
Yes, I know, but
And
I learned my business the hard knock way.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're doing pretty good, man.
But yeah, we doing all right. I'm blessed to be here for real.
So, what made you join the military?
Shoot, man. So, like I said, I went to college for that year, man, and I didn't make it. It wasn't that I wasn't smart. I know I've always been smart. My mind was focused on, having fun. So after that, I was just kind of messing around in life, man, living with different friends and doing stuff and no real direction. So I was like, man, this recruiter had been hitting me up for years, man, since like 11th grade. So I finally was like, I'm gonna just go check him out, hear what he got to say. And then they, kind of sold me on it, man, and I joined up. And plus I wanted to get out of Arkansas too, man, because a lot of, I felt stuck out there.
Yeah.
You feel stuck out there sometimes.
How long were you in the military for?
I did my 4-year contract and then got out.
And what was your MOS? You're Army, right?
Yeah, Army, man. 42 Alpha, which human resource.
Okay.
Which, you've been in the military. I'm S1, meaning I'm doing finance and paperwork and leave forms and awards and all that.
You know the irony of what thinking about everything you're saying is this, right? So,
what's that?
you had good grades, but you were messing up. You went to college for a year, but you were messing up, and you went to college for business, right?
Right. Yep.
Then you joined the Army. You did 4 years. Yep. You chose to go S1.
Right.
I think subconsciously it was all leading you to this point that you're here right now because all those things that those experiences are going to help you with this business. And like I said, I feel like, I've known you for now going on probably about, 2 years?
Oh, yeah. It's been a good minute. Couple years probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen you in 3 different shops, and not 3 different shops because of bad reasons, 3 different shops that you upgraded.
Yeah, just upgrade, keep it rolling.
Yeah, and so I think that subconsciously that you just kept following your dream low key.
You're definitely right. I kind of look at it like the military was kind of like what provided me the discipline I needed to execute things. So, getting up early in the morning, making sure everything's organized and just, being where you're supposed to be, you're just disciplined. That's what I was lacking through that's why my grades weren't good, no discipline,
You think that's because of your dad not being around when you were younger?
It could have something to do with it for sure. Honestly, I think if I did have a father in the home, I probably wouldn't have took the detour of not doing my best,
Yeah.
Because I would have had a little more accountability, Mom tried her hardest, don't get me wrong. Mama did everything she could, but it's something different about a father's discipline.
Yeah.
Something's different. Mom can only do so much. So
that's very much true because you're a father too, right?
Oh yeah.
And I know even with my youngest son, he's only 9 months old, and then even this early in life, with his mom, she'll tell him things to do, and she have to keep telling him.
Yeah.
And you kind of give him some kind of grace because he's a baby.
Right.
But then when it comes to me, I'll tell him the same thing, or I'll tell him something, or I won't even have to say nothing. I can just look at him, call his name, and then he'll just
on cue.
Yeah, he'll change his behavior.
Right, and I deal with this exact same thing.
Yeah, so I very much think that a lot of people we lack that discipline because of the lack of males in the household.
Yeah, and I don't think that gets enough value, whereas the father doesn't really get enough value these days. There are some messed up men out there, but there's also good men out there that want to take care of their kids, and I talk to them every day. Me and a barber, I deal with mostly men. So it's
I would think that being a barber is almost like being a personal trainer. You're almost like a low-key, like a therapist.
Almost like a therapist, man.
You hear a lot of people's problems. Stuff you don't even want to hear sometimes.
I've heard it all. The stuff I don't want to hear, all of it. I've had people cry in this chair. You are almost a therapist,
Now, growing up, did you want kids?
Of course, I think I wanted them one day, but
Did they come
kind of came as a, came when they came, man. I think I did want kids. It's not something I thought heavily about, though. It
Yeah.
just kind of, life progressed that way, bro.
I
I
got
knew
you.
that if I did have kids, I was gonna try my best to be there. Like, because when you had that lack of a consistent father all the time, it's like, man, I never want to do that. Like, I'm gonna try to be there as much as I can.
Now,
You know?
as a 30, you said 32,
Yeah, 31.
31. As a 31-year-old black man in America, man,
There you
what
go.
do you find to be like one of your toughest struggles that you deal with every day?
Man, on a daily. Shoot, man, good question, brother. I just think just keeping motivated is tough sometimes, man, because in business you can, well, in life in general, man, sometimes you do the same thing over and over and over, and you feel like you're not getting ahead, and it's like, man, I'm working hard. Like, what else is it? So just staying motivated to keep on getting up and doing this thing is that's hard on anybody, black, white, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
just to keep it going. So just to keep knowing that you're doing the right thing, like you're on the right path.
What are some things that keeps you motivated though?
Family number one, man. I'm married with 3 kids, so
Congrats.
thanks, bro. I'm just trying to lead them the best way I can. You know what I'm saying? So that's who I really work for. So that's main motivation. Trying to make sure my family's good, and then just for my personal reasons, I want to stay doing great things, man. Just want to stay doing great things, bro.
Now, do you see yourself being a barber in like the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Just a
Yeah,
lifelong,
I
like a
think
lifetime
so. It's a
thing for you?
lifetime thing, bro. I think I'll be doing this for as long as I can. Um, it might get to a point because I got other business things I'm kind of trying to work on. It might get to a point where I'm doing this more for fun than for like, you know, hustling the way I am now. Because like now I'm hustling, man. I'm here all the time, man. I'm working 8, 10 hour days sometimes, and you know.
Yeah, I know you be hustling because trying to book with you be kind of tough
I
sometimes.
know, man. I be trying to get it in, bro. So when I open them books up, that's a blessing that everybody just gravitates, especially on the weekends. So, it's a grind, but it's not even work to me, man. Cause I've done all the hard jobs. I've done warehousing and truck driving and construction and all that. So to me, this is a gift to be able to like talk to people how I'm talking to you, and everybody leave with a smile because they got a nice cut. I like it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now, what got you into being a barber?
Oh man, so I already was kind of dabbling, like cutting friends lineups and things like that. I didn't know fully what I was doing, but I would try. And then, but I didn't look at it as a career. But one day, one of my friends, man, we worked this warehouse job together, and he was like, "Man, I'm a barber, man. I'm just waiting to get my license back." And I'm like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, man. I went back to the shop today, and he pulled out a wad of cash, like $400 or $500." And I was like, "Bro, you made that today?" He was like, "Yeah, bro. I'm jumping back in." I was like, "Whoa, you can make that kind of money?" It just never clicked for me that you can make that kind of money being a barber. So I was like, "Man, what?" So he kind of convinced me to go to barber school, and I just never looked back after that, man.
That's what I was about to ask you. Did you go to school? Because I know there's a lot of barbers out there who are self-taught.
Yeah. So I'm kind of was both. What people don't know about barber school is that a lot of them don't teach you how to like just do the nice cuts you see on YouTube, and it's more about teaching you about sanitation and how to keep your tools clean and how to keep everybody healthy and all that.
Oh, so they don't teach you how to do like lineups and stuff?
They do somewhat, but they try to. But most of the people that are like good at barbering already are successful.
Yeah.
So they're not really coming back to the school to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So I learned most of mine through YouTube, and then like I got a mentor like halfway through barber school. The first shop you met me at, the one over there by Subway.
Yeah.
I found that mentor like halfway through barber school, and he really taught me a lot of how to cut. So taught me a whole bunch, and that's how I really got started.
What kind of advice would you give to somebody who is aspiring to be a barber, but they just don't know where to start at?
Yeah, so I would say you could start today. So like YouTube's got everything on it that can kind of teach you. But you don't learn until you have to put your hands on the clippers to learn.
Oh,
You can't just look at the video. So you're gonna have to. I tell people to find a kid. Like if you got kids or a little brother or a little niece or nephew, that's the best to practice on.
yeah, they don't really know.
They don't really know what's going on. They don't got a job interview in the morning. You know, they don't got to go to work. You can kind of, not to say you mess them up, but it's a good practice.
Yeah.
So I would say
At least it's not like being a tattoo artist where you got, before you
right.
can tattoo on somebody else,
it grows back. Right.
Yeah, you got to tattue yourself first.
Exactly.
What would be like a starter kit for, like, would you suggest for like a up and coming barber? Like let's just say they wanted to go out and get their clippers and stuff.
So the specific clippers I usually tell for like a beginner would be like a Babyliss trimmer, which is this what I got right here, the gold. It's probably the best trimmer you can get, bro. So you might as well just buy it right off instead of going through a bunch of clippers. And then I would get like a Wall Senior, which is a great clipper for fading and all that. You can do the top and the fade with it. So if you start with just them two and then a foil shaver, Andy's foil shaver, you got enough right there to get going.
Oh, so you said what was the trimmer's called?
Babyliss trimmer. Which any barber knows, but you know if you're new to it, look that up. Babyliss and a Wall Senior.
A Wall Senior. So if you guys are watching this episode and you want to be a barber, go pick you up some Wall Senior clippers.
Yep.
Babyliss, what did it say?
Babyliss trimmer.
Babyliss trimmer.
And get you like an Andy's foil shaver.
And an Andy's foil shaver.
Maybe some straight razors, and you ready to get started.
Don't get no straight razors until you get some experience. I mean, cut people's head open.
You got to do it eventually. You got to get your feet wet in that eventually because it changes the game.
Yeah.
When you get the straight razor, but you start with those two. Those are like the two I would start with. And trust me, I went through all the new trimmers that come out every 2 months, and I was up to date on all the trimmers, and some of them were just trash, to be honest. So it's like, just start with something cool.
So did you ever, growing up, did you ever deal with any kind of like mental health issues?
Not me, really. Like, I feel like I was all right, man. It was at some point I had an anger issue, like when my dad left and all that. But that kind of subsided, and I don't feel like I had too many mental health struggles. I have some deaths in the family that hit hard. A couple cousins that passed and all that, but I made it through. I've made it through. There's people that had it way worse than me.
Did you ever think about going to therapy at all?
Oh man, I've thought about it before. I've never actually been to therapy though, but I think it's good for a lot of people. I kind of work out on my own. If it ever got too much, I would though. If I was having the wrong thoughts, I definitely would.
Well, I know you say you really haven't that many mental health issues, which is a blessing. But as just being a man, being a father, a husband, and in general, just being a black man in today's society, it's pressure. So what kind of things do you do and you practice to, keep yourself mentally strong, keep yourself, in a good mental space?
Right. Yeah, that's
what kind
good.
of things do you practice?
That's a good question, man. I pray, which I know might not work for everybody, but I stay in tune with the Lord, man. I pray and I meditate every so often, man. I'm not good as consistent as I should be, but I try to meditate when I need to. And for me, meditation is just kind of getting still and breathing and trying to empty the mind almost, That's kind of like meditation for me.
So was meditation something you had to learn how to do?
Definitely.
Because I've seen people do the meditation thing, and I've tried to I ain't gonna say do it, but I've thought about doing it. But it's like, don't you have to get like your body and your mind at like a real quiet, still place?
I look at it like taking a breather from the mind, because we all just. The reason most of us are kind of, our brains just won't shut off, Yeah. And you're just constantly, man, this, that, and it's just going. And meditating is just sitting there, you focusing on the breath only. you know, until your mind is almost blank. It's like just a break for the mind, man. That's what I feel it is. And but it does take practice, like you said. It's your first. That's what a lot of people get frustrated with it because it's like your first session might not be the greatest. You're gonna keep getting distracted, but it's almost like a muscle. You keep working it, and you eventually, you know, it works. It'll relax you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to like get into it.
Yeah,
That's something that I've always been interested into it in doing. But I think they have teachers out there who teach you how to. Like,
Oh yeah,
do it.
they definitely do. Honestly, man, I kind of learned through YouTube, bro. It seemed crazy to think YouTube would teach you, but
YouTube will teach you anything.
yeah, it's just basic meditation, and it's right there on YouTube, man. It can teach you a lot.
And you go to the gym too, don't you?
Oh yeah, I definitely go to the gym, man. I try to go in the morning. I do my best to go in the morning before work. That's a great one too. That releases a lot of stress to me. Like,
That's what I was going to ask you. You think that helps you release stress, or you think that you're just doing it for health reasons?
I'm doing it for health reasons, but it also relieves stress because I can have stuff on my mind and take it out on the workout. So it definitely helps with that, you know. And then meditation also, you got to kind of give yourself a week or two to you know, don't expect it to just be great on day one.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, the working out, man, that definitely helps. You know, the endorphins and all that. You feel so good after the workout.
Well, I know you said you wanted to get out of Arkansas to come to Washington, or just get out of Arkansas. That's why you came to Washington.
Yeah.
But what made you choose Washington?
Well, I didn't choose Washington. I joined the military, and this is where they sent me, man. When they first said Washington, I was thinking like Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, you need to think like Seattle. And I was like, whoa, Seattle? I actually had to go look at the map and be like, where is this? So.
And you just liked it and decided to stay?
Yeah, I ended up, you know, by the time I got out the military, man, I had like a wife and a kid, you know, so it was like, she's from here, and I'm like, man, I'm just going to stay. I like the weather. It's more diverse here, too. And, I like the food is good here as far as like Asian food and seafood. You're not gonna get as much barbecue here for sure as the South, but all the like Asian food, international food is fire.
Yeah, I think I need to get out and dabble more in food because I be thinking like, man, there's not that many food options, but it's probably mainly because I probably be more one-dimensional with my food choices.
I went through that too, bro. You gotta open your mind a little bit because like. I never had pho or Thai food or any of that until I got out here. And once I actually tried it, I was like, okay, this got some merit to it. Like, this is good.
So, did you ever, I know you didn't really deal with too much mental health issues, but like I said, we do have stressors, we all do. Any point in time throughout life, did you ever like, you know, I guess you would say self-medicate, like with like maybe like marijuana or alcohol or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I used to smoke crazy amounts of weed, bro. I don't know anymore. I kind of grew out of it, but yeah, especially when I was, you know, in the teens, 17, 16, 18. I definitely was, and I didn't even know why I was doing it, but I think it was definitely had to do with like my family dynamic. Like, man, where's dad at? I'm going through all the, you know, you teenager, everything's a big deal when you're a teenager. So, and it's just like, you know, you feel like you don't have nobody to relate to. And I definitely did that, you know.
Well, see, that's why I started this podcast because I want to give people an avenue to one, to tell, like I said, tell their stories, and then two, hopefully somebody who's watching this, you know, maybe there's a barber out there who's watching this, and one, now they know how to start, they know they know the starter kit, and then two, you know, it gives them hope, and you know they can relate to your story a little bit, you know. So I think we all need to have something or someone that we can relate to, truly relate to, because it keeps us encouraged and keeps us having hope that we can keep going forward, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, you know, I'm not a therapist by any means, and I tell people that when I talk about my podcast all the time.
Right, for sure.
I'm not a therapist. I'm just trying to give people an avenue
to speak,
you know, to speak, tell their story, and you know, hopefully help somebody.
I got you for sure. That's a good thing.
Now, have you ever lost anybody to suicide, man?
No, not suicide, man. Like I said, I just recently lost my dad, and it was due to alcoholism, man. He just struggled with it, like my whole life for sure, probably before I was even born. And yeah, man, it just finally all hit the wrong systems of the body, man, and he just passed away like a month ago, man. It was
Did,
sad.
did that deter you from ever wanting to like really drink?
I definitely watch myself closer. You
Okay.
know, I still drink like socially. Like I don't keep liquor at the house for sure, but socially I will go out with the friends and have a few. But I I've always kind of been aware that addiction run in my family.
Yeah.
Cause he's not even the only one. Addiction runs through my family, so I uh I kind of always have watched myself, even when I was a kid, experimenting. It's like, man, I gotta be careful because I can really get addicted, you know. So, but it doesn't deter me. I don't look at it like, man, I can't drink at all. I feel like that's too extreme.
Yeah.
But I will have a good time at the bar with the homies, man. And it won't be,
What's your drink of choice when you go out?
Oh, I'm
You like a
usually
tequila guy.
usually either it's usually one or two, either tequila or whiskey. I kind of choose when I get there, but you got to stick to one once you choose for the night. No mixing.
Why is that?
No mixing, man. You know how that, man, that'll tear you up, bro. The hangover after that is crazy when you mix.
I don't know. I don't really get hangovers, so.
What?
But I'm not a big drinker. I don't really like drinking.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that. I don't like going out and getting, for lack of
Like
better,
slammed.
Yeah, I don't mind like being a social drinker, like.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
what
learned
I'm
something about myself recently. I was talking to my brother about this.
Okay.
I learned that shots is not the way for me. As I got older, like I
It's
can't.
not the way, huh?
No, because shots they hit you too fast.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what my brother explained to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they hit you so fast,
They
and
do.
then it conjure up so much emotions. So then I become emotional.
Mm.
I wouldn't say I'm an emotional drunk, but
Right.
you're just with
start
everything that
feeling it.
with everything that I'm already in tune with my emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and with everything that I've been through, especially here recently.
Right.
If I drink too fast, like all those emotions just boil over. And
Oh,
then,
man.
it turns into like a
Oh, yeah.
a therapy session in a sense.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
which is nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to be the therapist.
Bringing
bring that not negative, but like that sad energy.
right,
to
bringing the
bar
party
or whatever.
down. Yeah, I
You
got you.
But
feel
I don't
you
care.
on
At
that.
the end of the day, man, I'm so into mental health, man, that I don't care, man. I'll be at work at the bar when I be working at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be talking to people about the podcast, talking to people about their mental health and stuff like
Okay.
that, because
sure.
that might be the only time I get to talk to them.
That's true.
And
That's true.
I just want everybody to be aware.
Yeah, for sure.
Everywhere I go, I talk to everybody about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not gonna lie, because mental health is so taboo still.
Yeah.
When I first started like the podcast and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, I used to be like kind of like nervous to bring it up to people because people will be like, just like,
Kind of, it's like a buzzword of like, oh,
Yeah,
here you
people
go
start-
about this.
yeah, they start clearing the room.
Right,
you know?
right.
And then I started thinking, I was like, you know what, man, it don't matter because my whole purpose of doing this is to at least touch one person
There you go.
and to save one life. So
Right.
if only one person stays in the room and 50 leave,
Mm-hmm.
then that one person is the one who needed it for that day.
Yeah, you're definitely right, man. And you don't know what nobody's going through, really. You know, you really don't know what they're going through. You might be the one person that like cared for the day. You know,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that could save them. You know, that's what I feel like that's so good about barbering is that a lot of people come in here and they, a lot of people are lonely, man. There's a lot of lonely people in America, bro. That
What do you think is causes the loneliness?
It's probably a lot of factors, but I would say that it's, we live in this social media world or everybody's kind of showing their best, the highlights of life, but they don't show the down parts. So it's like a lot of the younger generation, they comparing themselves to unrealistic things,
Correct.
and they think they're not making it, and then,
I was just talking on the last episode about that, about how people literally they post, you know, like when you're what I'm trying to say, when you're in a dark space,
Right.
right, and you're down, and let's just say you start scrolling on Instagram or
Yeah.
scrolling, all you see is people posting about how good their lives are, how good their
Yeah,
relationships
exactly.
are, how much money they got, flexing, all that, and that just drives you more into, you know, a lack of self worth.
Right. Yeah.
Down hole of,
I feel like it can cause depression where it's like, man,
yeah,
I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, man. This, you know, they get on Instagram and there's a 22-year-old in a Rolls Royce and they think, man, I'm 26, I'm not doing right. Or
yeah,
they see the relationship that, you know, a couple on Instagram have, like, oh man, they always happy, man. I can't find nobody.
yeah. Because I used to wonder why, like when I was growing up, right, or like you know, like when we were growing up, you didn't really hear people talking so much about mental health issues, depression, you know, anxiety, all that kind of stuff, right? And I started thinking about it. We also didn't grow up in a world where social media was so prevalent,
Right,
right? So
exactly.
you didn't really see, you didn't really see
All
the good
the
and
good stuff,
the
right.
fake stuff that people post.
Yeah, you only saw like your actual neighbors that you knew, and it's like,
Yeah, you didn't really. It didn't really
know?
kind of affect you too much because everybody was kind of in the same boat.
yes. And if your neighbor, you know, gets a new car, but you also know your neighbor's been arguing, you know, for the past 2 days, it doesn't hit you as much like, oh
Yeah.
man, they doing better than us. It's like, oh no, we know they got problems too.
Exactly. Like
But,
you know your community and everybody is on the same playing field in a
yeah,
sense. You know, versus
social media isn't always relatable.
yeah, it's not relatable
It's
really
not
at
always
all.
relatable, man.
I mean, even in the fitness world, you know, like you got all these influencers who
That too,
they
yeah.
I was just talking to my client about this. There's so many influencers out there that show like all these heavy lifts over and over again.
Right.
All these heavy lifts all over and over again, and they're showing like, you know, back to back lifts and PRs and all this stuff. And what people are not understanding is that these influencers are using recycled videos
Right.
a lot of times,
That's
and
it.
a lot of them are not. You know, a lot of them aren't natural.
Oh yeah, a lot of them aren't natural, and also you see the crazy bodies they have, and you're like, whoa, I've been working out for a long time. You know, I ain't got like that, but they don't know, man. They got like that with some, you know, with some help.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like kind of like giving like unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
That, you know, these new lifters and even better lifters like myself and stuff like that we can sustain and achieve these numbers in such a fast, you know, time frame, which is not real.
Right.
You know, it's because like, you know, outside someone was at work the other day. You know, sometimes I feel like people, the way society is governed now, is almost like we're supposed to be machines, and we're not machines.
Right.
We need rest. We need
Yeah,
recovery.
for sure.
For both mental and physical reasons, and they,
Yeah.
you know, our jobs,
And
they treat us like machines.
They definitely do.
And then, you know, when it comes to the gym, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses in a sense when it comes to
Right.
lifting. You know, like,
I
oh
think-
yeah, you got a 6-pack and you're squatting 600 pounds. Like,
Right. It's
I'm a little
like-
pudgy and I'm squatting 500. Like,
Right.
okay,
It's like-
a little pudgy is not that bad.
It's not that
and
bad.
500, there's a very small percentage of people who are natural
That can do
that can squat 500.
500. Right. That's
You know what
not.
I mean?
That's. I don't think people understand that. I saw a stat the other day that was like, I want to say maybe only 10% of people can bench 225 or something like
something
that.
crazy
Like
that,
something
yeah.
like that. So it's like people are doing good and still don't feel good about it
Nope.
because they're being the comparison.
Yeah, they're being socially constructed.
And then the other thing that, like, I feel like why people are lonely too, or they feel lonely, is I don't know if you'll agree with this, it's the video games sometimes, man. We was talking about this the other day where it's like, there are dudes that just go to work, come home, straight game all day, all night.
No social
Never,
interaction.
no social interaction. They don't go out on weekends. They don't go hit the bar. They don't get to talk to girls or whoever they, you know, they don't get to mingle with the public. They just down there, no sunlight. They order DoorDash in. They don't have to leave. And some people are kind of wasting their life away with that, you know. And it's not just young people anymore. I have guys that are like, you know, 42 that are, you know, still doing that. And it is, you know, it's almost like a drug. They're using it as a crutch to lean on.
Yeah. Some people use that as an escape. I know some people.
It's an escape.
Yeah, they use that as an escape.
And that's okay, but you can't just.
It's got to be a balance.
There got to be a balance. Because I play video games too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't play them. But I play for maybe an hour or two every other day. And, I'm not, it's not my life.
Yeah.
I
went through a phase last year. Well, back in 2016, I'd say probably like 2015, like 2016.
Check it out real quick.
All right, let's see what this cut looks like,
see what's
guys.
going on real quick before we'll finish up the conversation.
We'll give y'all a zoom in on it.
Yeah. See how we feeling.
Yeah, it's good, man. Good as always. Good as always.
Sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, what was you saying?
I went through a phase as well during 2016 where I played video games like non-stop.
Yeah.
And thinking back on it, I don't think that I was going through anything really, besides the fact that that's when I originally broke my leg.
Okay.
And then most recently, in 2024, I went through, like beginning of 2024, oh man, you literally described who I was. I would really go to work,
that's what I'm saying,
come home, roll a blunt, and play video games for hours on end.
Right, but see, that's it's almost like a drug, but it's like nobody's worried about you because you're like, oh, he just plays games.
Yeah.
But if you were doing like, a hard drug, but everybody be like, oh my God, what's going on? You don't have to do this, but it's like it's just a video game. That's what we look at it as. Like, oh, he's just gaming, he's good, but it's like, bro, he's gaming 7-8 hours a day. That's
there's no growth. There's no mental growth. There's no.
Yeah, you're not developing a skill. Your only skill is going to be to play this game.
Yeah. You're growing those thumb muscles.
Yeah, you're growing the thumb muscles, and then it's, I'm just saying, there's a balance, like we said, but nobody would look at it like you're doing something crazy, and that's what I think is the problem. Where it's like, he don't have a problem. He just liked the game, but it's like he hasn't been outside to socialize in like 4 months, man. That's a problem. It's a
big problem. Yeah,
it's a big problem.
So look, man. Per always, we're on the podcast. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's watching that might be battling with any kind of mental health issues? I know you never dealt with them, but what kind of advice would you give?
Right.
If you had somebody who let's just say you had somebody in your chair and they opened up to you about some kind of like, they're going through something. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, my advice was basically don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's one of the biggest things is, you're afraid of the stigma of, I got to go to therapy and I don't know who to ask or I don't know where to find help. But there's, we live in a world now where you can kind of search the internet, you can find some help. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a professional involved, I hate for somebody to feel like they're alone in their mental health battle. So
yeah.
Even if you don't get help, you got to find somebody to at least vent to, talk to, let it out, let somebody, not just keeping the thoughts in your head, because that's what's going to drive you crazy, in my opinion.
Correct.
And that's what I kind of like about what I do, where it's like people can come in here and they can be themselves. They can, sometimes late at night I get, one-on-one time with the client. That's when they really open up and it's like, whoa, I didn't even know you was going through all that. And you can see the relief on their face when they're like, man, I finally get to talk about this. And even when everybody's in here, I stress to the guys that it's like, hey, don't judge nobody for whatever they're saying in here. Because, if you jump on them too tough when they letting emotions out, they'll never open up again. So we try to keep this a place of peace, where you can say what you need to say. Because especially as men, we don't talk enough. Especially about emotion. We can talk about basketball and football players all day, but we don't talk about the real stuff sometimes.
But I think that's because we were socially constructed to believe that we're not able to talk about emotions.
For sure.
So
definitely.
But man, what did you think about the podcast?
I thought it was cool, man. I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hadn't really been on camera before, but this is about a normal conversation that we have usually. Honestly, it wasn't too far off, so this, cool. I liked it.
So would you ever come down to my studio and actually have a real?
Yeah,
you would.
I think we should. This was a good introduction that got me a little more comfortable. So we might could actually sit on the couch now and do a long form. I might can get into.
Whiskey.
I was a little not wanting to tell my whole story, you know, like putting my business out, but maybe, you know, when I get there, I could kind of tell my real whole story.
Okay.
I know I probably was a little generalized, but.
Well, look, guys, all y'all watching, if y'all want to hear Tyler's full story, y'all go ahead and drop a comment in there. Come back, Tyler, in the comments.
Come
like
back,
this,
Tyler.
like this video as well.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning of this video, if you guys are ever in the Washington and Parkland area and you need a haircut, come on down over here to Royal Fades.
For sure.
It's 11810 South Pacific Avenue in Parkland, Washington.
That's it.
Ask for Tyler, but he also has a couple other barbers in here.
Yeah. All good.
They're all good barbers. I've been cut by none of them. I've been strictly with Tyler, but I'll be seeing the cuts and they all fly.
We're not going to steer you away. We got you. I got you.
But you guys be blessed, man. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you have not yet already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at mindoveremotions_VDP. On TikTok as well, at Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. And then, like I said, hit the subscribe button. You guys be blessed. Take care of your mental health and check on your loved ones. Peace.
All right, peace. Let's get it. All right, look, we did that.